Hello, once again, YouTube. This might be a bit of a this might be a bit of a surprise of all the game is possible. But no, I'm not shiny hunting for once. I'm instead playing Colosseum or not. Jesus, what is wrong with me today? I'm sorry, but I can't speak English, first language or not. I'm playing Pokemon XD Gale Darkness. And I want to try something today that I've never been able to do, and that is the 1 versus 100 challenge on Mount Battle. Now, Mount Battle is in both Colosseum and XD, but the prizes you get are different. In Colosseum, I believe it's just Poke Coupons, which you can spend in the shop right over here. In Colosseum, of course, but for XD, you get something entirely different. You get a Johto starter of your choice. And they already come preset with one egg move, blast burn, hydro cannon, or frenzy plant, depending on the choice, and 2 normal level up moves. I have never ever completed Mount Battle in either game, and I want to try it today. And you will not believe what I've had to do in order to get this setup to work. I'm not using my phone. Thank God, I actually got a better camera. But no, this is not just any normal camera. It's actually a Samsung tablet. So, yeah. I mean, I might be able to record for maybe up to an hour because it has nothing in the gallery right now. It has no data taken up. But I'm not sure how long it'll record, so I'll have to check very often. But I have a sheet hanging over my window because there was a lot of glare. I had to pull my bookcase out ever so slightly so the tablet could stand upright. I had to go get a few things in order for the tablet to not die middle recording. And I've actually been spending most of my time not only playing this beauty, Colosseum. I never got to play it as a kid, and I only got it like recently in the past few months, but I've also been recently building these mons. These are the Pokemon I'll be using to tackle Mount Battle. And as you can see, the lowest level is Joffrey with level 54. And highest is Cradley with 99. But everybody else is at level 69. Giggity. But, before we begin, I might as well show them off. Originally, I wanted Ladian to hold the Bright Powder, since it seemed to be the only really decent item for Ladian other than a Mental Herb. But I said, hey, why not? I already have a Mental Herb, and I don't have the Bright Powder. I don't know why I don't have it. I looked for it. I checked online. Still couldn't find it, so I don't know what the problem is. Yes, all of these Pokemon were very specifically bred for doubles and also to work as singles mons as well, if you really wanted to. But, I mean, you can see I bred for the Calm Nature. It's got Early Bird. I made sure specifically it had Early Bird. Ledian can also have Swarm. But in XD, Gale Darkness, and Colosseum, or just the entirety of 3rd Gen, Swarm is completely useless. Since this is before the special physical split, bug-type moves are all physical. And Ledian has atrocious physical attack. And, like, that's still really bad physical defense. Its special attack is mediocre. Its special defense is its highest stat at base 110. So I had to build this thing as a special defense wall. And even then, it doesn't do its job very well. Because it still has ice, fire, and electricity being super effective on it. But other than that, it's actually got some decent speed behind it. And none of these are egg moves, per se, because Reflect and Light Screen it learns naturally, which is always nice. It's mostly there for screens, and for stalling out with Toxic, or at least throwing Toxic on things before it dies. Ice Punch is there simply because if I get taunted, like, I have to hit them with something, what am I going to hit them with? I only did Ice Punch. Okay, Ledian gets a few different special attacking moves that it can use, those being Gear Drain, Ice Punch, and Thunder Punch. It also gets Psybeam, but Psybeam's not nearly as useful. Um, if you want more coverage, use Thunder Punch. If you want to hit more things super effectively in general, use Ice Punch. Moving on, Joffrey, modest natured. It currently has EXP share on it. I don't know what item I'm going to give it. I decided on a Cherry Berry simply because look at these stats. It's got good special attack, good speed, some okay health, and everything else is mediocre. If it gets shut down with paralysis, it is just over for it. It can't do anything. It's too slow. It can't take too many hits. So it has to absolutely have as much speed as it possibly can in order to be effective. That's why I'm deciding to give it Cherry Berry. Only problem is, I don't know if in Mount Battle your items get returned if you use them up. So say somebody's holding an Oran Berry, and I go into a fight and they get to half health and Oran Berry gets used, I finish the battle. I don't know if I get my Oran Berry back. I should have tested, I didn't, but for now it's got EXP share, and that's also to help it catch up on the levels. This is the most underleveled mon in my party. I didn't have to do any egg moves for this one. I was quite thankful. The only big problem was getting a specific hidden power typing, and the actual typing I was looking for was fire, because I used Pokemon Database's type coverage calculator, and it turns out with Crunch, Psychic, and Thunderbolt, I hit everything except for Nuzlocke, Shiftry, Steelix, and a few other Steel-type Pokemon. But with Hidden Power Fire, it automatically covers the rest of those. And I also want to take the Mental Herb, because if it does use up items, then I don't want that to be used. Everybody else has other items. Okay, moving on. Kecleon. Adamant Natured. Choice Banded. I maxed out its attack and health. It has a base 90 attack stat, which is actually fairly decent. But like without the choice band, it's kind of eh. But at the same time, I had to breed for Trick, which requires teaching it or learning it by something else. I don't remember what exactly. And then breeding Trick onto Spinda, and then breeding a Spinda with a Kecleon in order to have Kecleon with Trick. But that Trick's mostly there for the Battle Frontier, since you actually get your items back after every battle. But it's running Brick Break, Return for Stab, and Shadow Ball for a little more coverage. Moving on. Latios. This one was by far one of the hardest to do, because in order to get a very specific natured Latios or Latias, you have to beat the Elite Four, go home, and before you go downstairs, you have to save, then go downstairs, talk to your mom, talk to the TV, figure out which color Pokemon it is. This is an Emerald. If you're playing Ruby or Sapphire, you'll get the other color, respective. After that, you go to the specific cycling route with a bunch of repels and a Pokemon that's at least like level 35, or in between like 30 and 40. Keep it in the front of your party, spray repels, and use your bike to jump up and down in the first square of grass, or the first little plot of grass. And if it doesn't show up, use your bike and go back inside to the little cycling road area where you can still stay on your bike. Leave, go back into the grass, and hop in it for a little bit. And you just repeat this process until it shows up. Then you have to use your Master Ball for this, and I only say Master Ball because that is the fastest way to do it. It'll run otherwise. You catch it, you check its nature. If it's not what you're looking for, you have to do all of that again, and it takes at least between 10 minutes at the absolute fastest is how I found this, and even then it didn't have the right nature, so you have to keep resetting for it. But any Jolly, timid, Jolly, Adamant, and Modest are the most useful natures for Latios, by far. As you can see, maxed out attack, maxed out speed, but you probably couldn't tell. The moves. Shadow Ball and Earthquake were TM obvious. Dragon Dance and Recover were level up moves, but these two cover everything except for normal and flying types. I am not capable of hitting the Pidgeline. I am not capable of hitting Spearow and Fearow or anything like that, and it's kind of a pain, but I get through it with this one here, Ampharos. I'm letting it hold Quick Claw. Originally I wanted Shell Bell on it, but That is basically simply because everything on it is decent except for physical attack and speed. That's about it. Modest nature, obvious. Want as much power as possible. Static is its only ability it can have. Thunderbolt, hidden power, ice, fire punch, and protect. The only reason I needed to breed for this was the nature, and that was about it. But yeah, that's about it. Ampharos is pretty self-explanatory. Sweeper. Now here's the monster. This was my first ever bred Pokemon. Careful nature, so less special attack, more special defense. Maxed out special defense, maxed out health. And I had to breed for Recover, Barrier, and Rock Slide on it. And then TM for Toxic. That was kind of a pain. Because the way breeding works in Gen 3, I'll explain this later, it's a very large pain. Is there anything else I can give you? We're going to give you a Quick Claw. That way you have at least something. Anyway, let's begin. Actually, I don't know if I could turn this up at all. Hopefully that's at the right volume. The backlight on my TV is turned down way low, so it's actually a lot harder on my eyes since it's a lot darker. But I'm looking on the tablet and it looks at the correct brightness, so I'll have to keep it like that. But I plan on doing these Mount Battle runs in batches of 25 battles each. I'm not sure how that's gonna go. Hopefully well. Hopefully. Like, I don't know how to explain that any better. It's like, I'm kind of nervous, but I'm not. Oh gosh, I'm having a quick moment of deja vu. I don't know why, but just now. Anywho. What was I saying earlier? Oh, breeding, 3rd gen. Giant pain in the butt. Would not recommend it, even though I've already done it. But that's because I've actually bred Pokemon in almost every generation so far. So I actually have enough understanding for each generation of how they work. 6 and 7 are by far the easiest, and I'm thankful they've made it so easy, but at the same time I kind of miss the struggle and challenge. I don't know, that's just me, I'm sure. Because when you breed a Pokemon, and it's a great challenge like it is in Gens, like basically 2 through 4, because 5 made it easier with Destiny introduced. Or was that Gen 4? I don't remember when the Destiny Knot was introduced. All I know is it was just introduced in between 4 and 5. It was one of those times. Anywho. Gen 3 is a pain. And I'm not... Okay. I said I've bred in every generation. That is a lie. I've not done it for 2nd gen. Because I was still trying to complete the main game when my battery died. Not in my, like, Game Boy Advance or anything, but the actual game itself. The internal battery of the game died, and for those who don't know, if your internal battery dies in either 1st gen or 2nd gen games, you lose all your progress. Entirely. Yes, it is quite sad. Now, I'm not sure if you can get it back simply by replacing the battery, or if it's gone outright if the battery dies out. But I don't know. I'll have to test it. I need to replace the battery on it. Back to the main topic. I don't know why I do that, but I get off topic so easily all the time. That's just me, I've seen. Nobody else has ever gone off topic nearly as much as me, and it's a self issue that I need to fix. But oh gosh, English. Come on, think. The breeding, Gen 3. Basically, if you want egg moves on your Pokemon, let's say there's a Pokemon with 4 different egg moves that you want, and that's the entire moveset you want on it for life. In some cases, or at least a majority of cases, what you were required to do is breed through 5 different Pokemon, and then breed onto the last one. And basically what I'm saying is, Like, a good example is my Cradily. It has Recover, Rock Slide, and Barrier. Those are all egg moves. But in order to do that, I had to breed with a Corsola. And that's fine. Corsola gets all three of those moves. But I'm pretty sure I had to breed it with something else first. I'm pretty sure I had to breed Corsola with something else in order to give it Rock Slide, and then it naturally got Recover and Barrier. And then I had to breed that one with a Cradle. Thing is, for Gen 3, because I'm only saying Gen 3, I know this is in other gens, but I'm just saying this because I know Gen 3 for a fact. The only way you can pass down an egg move is if the gender of the Pokemon is male. And also, in Gen 3, when breeding, the only way to pass down the nature of a Pokemon is if the Pokemon's gender is female. Now, that's not a huge issue. The huge issue is trying to find the correct nature. Because if you get a male with the correct nature, you cannot pass down the nature. Oh, and that's another thing. If you give the Pokemon the Everstone, and it's female, and it's the right nature, there's only a 50% chance they'll carry down that nature. It's not guaranteed. So it requires a lot of grinding. But I feel it's worth it in the end. I mean, I kind of took the easy route. I did breed all these Pokemon, but I did not breed them for IVs. I only bred them for the correct movesets and natures. Oh, excuse me. But, yeah, that's pretty much all I gotta say. Gameplay-wise, if I had to choose between Colosseum and XD Gale Darkness, I'm sorry, but my heart goes to XD Gale Darkness. The graphics overall are better that's mostly for the player model and the NPC models. Because in Colosseum, they only had, I think, 3 different poses for the NPCs, and that was mid-battle fight, if they lose the battle, if they win the battle, and standing out in the open. Never mind, that's 4, but still. What else? Love Pokemon. Always have. You guys, if anybody knows my channel decently enough, you all should know that. And yes, shocking that I didn't freaking die. Because I've not uploaded in so long. But, I'm happy to start making more content. And especially since it's not shiny hunting, because, don't get me wrong, I like shiny hunting, but it just gets kind of repetitive from time to time. I like going back to the older games. And I wish I could still play my Crystal version, because that's the only Gen 2 game I have, but sadly, like I said, the battery died, so I have to start the game over every single time I turn off the system. So I like to come back to Gen 3. Gen 3 is not a big problem. I have Fire Red and Emerald, Colosseum and XD Gale Darkness, so in technicality, I should be able to get every Pokemon, and I also have a copy of Leaf Green. But the only problem is, I didn't see that it was a third-party release and not a first-party, so it is not made by Nintendo, but it is instead somebody else who made it. And I didn't realize it at first, and then I inspected it more closely and checked the inside. I didn't open it up per se, but I looked through the plastic itself, and it was how do I explain it? It looked like something you would open up your phone and find the pieces of the phone inside. That's kind of what it looked like, except it was all black. So I was like, I don't know. My opinion on it is it's fine since it's an older game. It's not going to impact anybody heavily, and as far as I know, you can actually trade between games like that. I'm not entirely sure if it's possible. I haven't beaten my third-party version of Leaf Green yet, but I think it's possible. And even then, it's not a bad thing. I mean, all I'm going to do is just get Pokemon I couldn't normally get. It's not like I'm cheating them in. I don't own a Game Shark. I don't ever plan on owning a Game Shark. And I mean, if I do get a Game Shark, it's only going to be for the Pokemon that are literally impossible to get. Those being Mew, Celebi. Jirachi's not impossible to get, but it's going to require a lot more money. Because the only way to get Jirachi in 3rd Gen was if you pre-ordered Colosseum, and it came with a special bonus disc that you could put in the GameCube, hook it up to your GBA, and it would transfer in your Jirachi. Fine and dandy, not what I like very much. Like, if I'm going to use Game Shark and I'm going to hack in any kind of Pokemon, then I want it to be like the items. Because in Gen 3, you can get Mew, and you can get the other Latias or Latios, whichever you didn't catch, by items. They were given. The only way to get them was through giving away items. Because it was the old C map for Mew, I believe. And I'm not exactly sure which item you had to show the ferryman in order to get the other respective Lati. But, like I said, I'm not going to go on my way to just cheat them in unless it's Celebi. Celebi is like the only one case I will do that. Because it's literally impossible to get otherwise. But, I will hack in the items, and I will go out of my way to have that full experience just to catch them. So what was that? Now, do I approve of hacking in any Pokemon game? No, not at all. The only reasoning behind that for me is it's literally impossible to get them now. It was possible at one point, but I was way too young to know any better. I think it was like 3 or 4, maybe 5 years old when that was happening, and not 17 like I am now. So, how was I supposed to know any better to go after those? I kind of regret it nowadays. At the same time, I don't. I have my own job now. I can make my own money. I can buy whatever I want. But I do need to save, because there's something in the future I would love to do. And it's probably when I'm going to do my face reveal video. But I am waiting on a very special day. And no, it's not my wedding. I'm not revealing myself on my wedding. God, no. I'm waiting to see somebody at an airport. I know that sounds a little weird right now, but hopefully that will make more sense in the future. I really hope it comes to fruition, more than anything else. Ugh, I gotta sit up in my chair. Hold up, I gotta drink some water. Alright. If you notice there, I got 170 Poke Coupons. That would have been, I think, 200 or more. It could have been more, not sure. But the only reason he gave me 170 is because I have a Latios in my party. The game, or I'm not sure if this works for Colosseum, but in XD Gale Darkness, if you have a legendary in your team, it will remove a set percent of the Poke Coupons from each area. If you have 2 legendaries in your team, it removes more. And it just keeps doing that. Doesn't it? Yeah, that. I can English, I swear. Also, for those who don't know, Fire Punch on Ampharos and Ice Punch on Ladian, those are not egg moves. Those are tutor moves from the Battle Frontier and Emerald. So, that's if you were wondering. Actually, the first 25 floors of this are going to be relatively easy, so I'm not sure if I should lengthen this specific video out to 50 floors. No, I think I'll just keep it at 25 each. I don't know when I'll be uploading the other 3 videos. I don't know, I might go at it all at once, like I normally do. But I don't know. Oh, excuse me. Had a little bit of burp. Look at this psychic animation, though. Is that not beautiful? Oh, that's another thing I wanted to mention. XD Gale Darkness, its graphics, why do they look so good? Is it just me? Am I losing it? Because these player models, and even the third gen Pokemon models, look amazing. And I know they only got better when Battle Revolution came out. Sadly, Battle Revolution didn't have an actual plot line at all. It was just, hey, battle things. In 3D. Gasp. But, I don't know. I never played Battle Revolution. I don't intend on getting it anytime soon. But, these graphics, at the time, these were absolutely shocking how good they were. So it was beautiful. And I still love them today. I personally think that these still look way better than most of the 3DS's graphics. Especially Wailord. Oh god, poor Wailord. I'm not sure if we'll ever find a Wailord in Mount Battle. There might be one instance, because I know there is Wailmer. Some people have Wailmers in their party, but I'm not sure about Wailord. But Wailord in this game takes up a massive amount of the stage, and it actually looks canonical to its real size. If you have played the 3DS games, which I'm sure most of you have, you know Wailord looks derpy, because it just takes up the whole circle that it's in. Except it's not exactly big, like most other Pokemon are actually bigger than it. Like Garchomp or what's a good choice? Landorus Thetaran form. Like Pokemon like that are actually the same size as it. It just doesn't look right. But oh, Mitchie. I am very itchy. Oh my gosh. Okay. But yeah, I mean, graphics look absolutely amazing. Kind of wish I played Stadium or Stadium 2, to be completely honest. Because I feel like those would have been excellent games I just never played. No, I have to take that back. I have played one of them. I don't remember which one it was. But I remember there was an Ekans hoop tossing minigame and a Rattata racing game. It was probably the first one. I think it was the first one. But yeah, that's pretty good. Okay. This might just be me, but I guarantee you it's not just me. I am absolutely bothered so much when I see a Feebas in this game and in Coliseum. And you want to know why? It's because you can only fish up Feebas, and I think it's like 5 or 6 tiles in the whole entirety of Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. And those tiles change randomly when you talk to somebody in Dewford Town. No correlation between them, but it completely affects how Feebas will show up. Is it Phoebus or Feebas? Oh, what did I just do? Okay, there we go. Gah. I don't know how to explain it very well. Feebas only shows up in one route in the entire game, and it can only be fished up on 6 different tiles, like I said. It's either 5 or 6. You know... How do I explain this? I don't know the route number off the top of my head, even though Gen 3 is my favorite gen. But it is the route with the Weather Institute, and it's almost always raining. If you know which route that is, then you get the idea. But there's the Weather Institute, you cross the bridge, and you can actually go down and fish in that river. Feebas's encounter tiles are all along that river. But like I said, there's only 5 or 6 out of almost... I know it's well over 100 different tiles to fish in. It requires A lot of dedication. And you know what the worst part is? Feebas is not 100% guaranteed to be fished up every time. It's only got like 50 or 60% encounter rate if you're on the right tile. So you have to fish 2 or 3 times in every tile. And even today, I've still not found a single Feebas in my Emerald version. And I've never, ever changed the man's words in Dewford. So the Feebas tiles are the same every single time I play. And I've never yet encountered one. I went up and down the entire river and fished in every spot twice. Now that might not be a lie. I probably should have done 3 or 4. But still, I fished twice every single tile in that river. Found nothing. I eventually just said, forget this. Feebas is a lost cause. And part of me really wishes they just put an in-game trade for, like, Corsola or something. Something you can get till the very end of the game. And then they turn around and they say, hey, I'll give you a Feebas for my Corsola. Or I'll give you a Feebas for your Corsola. Or something like that. Because that would have made that so much easier. It is... To give an idea of how hard it is to find Feebas, I found both Latios and Latias, which means 2 different playthroughs, faster than I found a Feebas. And even today, I still haven't found a Feebas, so, I mean, it's taken the longest out of any other Pokemon in the games to get. And I'm not including Mythicals or Legendaries because... But I'm only including Latios and Latias because they actually play a role at the end of the game, since you can get both. Oh gosh. Part of me is getting a headache, and the other one's just saying, shut up and keep talking. Okay. Oh, y'all might be wondering why I chose the Pokemon in my party that I do have. To be completely honest, I didn't care. I was just like, hey, what are some of my favorite Pokemon? And I was like, I'm going to breed those. That's pretty much the whole justification as to why I have the Pokemon I do. I could have things like Tyranitar and Salamence and Kingdra and Latios and Rayquaza and Kyogre and all those legendaries. And, like, no. I wanted to actually have fun making these Pokemon, so I decided to put in some of my favorites. Jaffrig is one of my favorites. Kecleon's definitely one of my favorites. I love Cradily. Ladian's not entirely a favorite, but I really love its design, so I decided to pick it. Plus, I was missing a support Pokemon on my team, so I just said, hey, it learns both Light Screen Reflect. And like most other Pokemon, Toxic, and has decent speed and some special defense, so, I mean, what could go wrong? Ladian can take most neutral hits for the most part, and fighting types. It's, like I said, its biggest weaknesses, its super effective weaknesses. That's pretty much it. It can barely take anything. It can take fighting type moves decently, because it ×4 resists, of course. It can take psychic moves decently. It can take dark moves decently. It can take grass moves perfectly fine since it's ×4 resist. What else off the top of my head? It can deal with things with Ice Beam, Thunderbolt, and I want to say Fire Punch because it can't live a flamethrower too well, but you get the idea. It can take a super effective hit, but not more than twice. That's about it. So like I said, it's there to put up 2 screens as quickly as possible and die. That's about it. Let's do this. There we go. This requires like no effort in terms of thinking. And this is going to be like this for the second video as well. Floors 26 to 50. I'm sorry if this may seem boring at all, but I mean, like, I have to over-level my Pokemon for this, because keep in mind, at the very end of Mount Battle, it's like nearing level 70. So, yeah. I do enjoy the music from these games, though. I really wish Genius Snorty would come back to work on a main series game for these, because we had the Wii U, there was the opportunity, it didn't happen, and then now there's the Switch, and now I really want it. Like, come on, please, Nintendo, I'm begging you. Everyone and their mother who have ever played these games really want a sequel, and honestly, I'm gonna tell you right now, if you ever get recommended a Pokemon game, it needs to be Colosseum and XD. Colosseum only took like 35 hours for me or something like that, but that's only because for the most part I kind of knew what I was doing, and even then I still got lost once or twice. It's a very short game. It's got a good plot line in the sense that you were this ex-criminal, you're trying to fix your problems, but I don't know. XD Gale Darkness is longer, it has better graphics overall, more areas to explore. There's a 3D map instead of a 2D one, which gives it a little more life. There's like a whole 6, 7, or 8 more areas to explore compared to the Colosseum. And it's true, some of Colosseum's previous areas got cut out. Like, a really big one is the Under. For those who don't know, the Under is... if you ever go to Pirate Town in these games, and you go across this really old rickety bridge, and there's this, like, chasm that the bridge is connecting one side to the other with. Inside that chasm, if you go all the way down, there is the Under, which is literally an underground town, which I thought was actually pretty cool. I still think it is. And I kind of wish they'd bring it back, because they had like neon lights down there and crap for the signs, and there was even a whole Coliseum dedicated to it. But I don't know. It's very hard to explain. I kind of wish for XD Gale Darkness they made the Under like an exclusive area after you beat the game. But it didn't happen. But I'm okay with it. I'm okay with whatever XD has now. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm actually missing, or at least I've not completed everything. I mean, Mountain Battle's obvious. I haven't completed Mountain Battle ever before in my life, and I've had this game since I was like 3 or 4. It has been over a decade with this game, and I have yet to complete Mount Battle entirely in one run. But I mean, it really is a challenge. If you do not come prepared, or if you do not have level 100 Pokemon in your party, you're going to fail. Guaranteed. It is a very, very tough fight. Because at the very end of this, yes, I am going to spoil who you fight. There's a man named either... Oh gosh, what was his name? Battleus or something else. It differs between Colosseum and XD. Either way, he has Latios, Latias, Dusclops. I believe he has a Starmie. And I don't know about his last 2 Pokemon. One of them might be Salamence. I'm repeating this all off the top of my head, by the way. Like, I retain quite a bit of Pokemon knowledge, but I do not remember everything specifically. Good. Coming along nicely. Oh, Jeffrey actually goes first this time. Oh, for those of you who don't know, Crunch is not physical in this game. Nor is Ice Punch. Or Thunder Punch, or Fire Punch, or anything else like that. The way it determined whether or not it would use special attack or physical attack in this game is the typing. And yes, that is very stupid, because Pokemon like Sneasel were just completely useless. Sneasel has a base 35 special attack, and Dark and Ice type moves are all considered special attack. Very dumb. But if the Pokemon's... or not the Pokemon... if the attack type... ooh, excuse me. If the attack type is fire, electric, ice, water, grass, psychic, dark, or dragon, it is special attacking. But, on the contrary, if it is rock, steel, ground, fighting, normal, ghost, poison, bug, or flying, it is considered physical. And I believe it's been this way since Gen 1. Don't quote me on that. That's going to be my motto, is just don't quote me on that. Actually, what floor are we on right now? 24? Yeah, so this one's going to be the last battle up until I have to quit. Totally devoted to grass types, huh? That could be a problem, sir. I have Ice Punch and Hidden Power Fire. Or you could just have a Lileep, that's cool. Lileep's kind of weird. Its only weaknesses are... Oh, Lileep and Creditly both, since they're the only rock grass types. But, basically, their only weaknesses are Ice, Steel, and Fighting. Yes, very weird. The only reason it's like that is because it's part rock type as well as grass. So rock actually covers up for fire and flying. It's a very, very defensive typing. I mean, how often do you see those kind of moves? I mean, yes, you do see Ice Beam. Yes, you do see Freeze Dry. You see all these other moves, but, I mean, how common, really? Anywho, that's going to be it for now. So, yeah. Hopefully that wasn't too boring, but I mean, it was the first 25 floors and I have overleveled Pokemon, so what did you really expect? I will see you guys soon enough, and we will conquer up to 50 floors in Mount Battle. Bye-bye.